Hello and welcome to a early access preview of Auction Not Included by Klei Entertainment. We're of course known for their Don't Starve, Market the Ninja, Invisible Ink and many of the other really awesome games. And this is another entry on that list of awesome games. And what is Auction Not Included? It is a colony simulation or a colony simulator game, such as RimWorld, Dwarf Fortress, Memoria, many of these other type of games. But it has a bit of a unique flair to it. Of course, it's by Klei, so if you play the Don't Starve, you know they do kind of odd, strange games. And it is very much in the early access. It launched actually yesterday into the early access, but I've put a considerable 300 and plus hours already into the game in alpha and in the early access now. So let's get going. So it is of course a work in progress. So it's gonna get a lot of new content coming up. It's already gotten a lot of content from the launch of the alpha into the early access. It got a lot of quick patches early on that added and fixed a lot of the issues and added new things. And then it has added two big content patches so far that are called upgrades, actually. And the first one was the thermal upgrade, which totally redid the heat system in the game and added a lot of stuff related to that and some of the other things as well. And then now with the launch of the early access, they introduced the agricultural upgrade, which, as the name says, focuses on farming food and that kind of stuff. We'll go a bit more into it once we go into the game. But if you haven't played the game or seen the game before, of course it doesn't mean much to you, other than it's focused on farming and food. But yeah, so let's get a new game going. I'll show you a bit of a start of a game, what you can do, and I'll show you a bit longer colony that we played yesterday on my stream. So yeah, let's jump into a new game. And as with many other of those colony simulation games, you start out with a handful of people, 3 in this case, and you can roll your guys. You can grab these guys if you like these, and you can rename them and check their stats. And they have different attributes that you start with. Of course, you want like a good miner at the start to make some space. You need a researcher and so on and so on. So rolling through these is quite important in the early game. They also have different traits, like Twinkle Toes here gives them extra athletics, narcoleptic, well, makes them fall asleep every now and then. And they also have different stress responses, like the Binge Eater that was added in the agricultural upgrade, Ugly Crier, Destructive, Vomiter. So when they get angry, they do different things. And also the new thing they added is the food quality. So they demand certain type of food, or they get angry. Or if they get good food, they get less stress, of course. And also the decor expectation, so they want things look nice, basically, for them. But we'll just go with these, it doesn't really matter, since we are just quickly showing them. There is definitely good traits and bad traits that you want to take and that you don't really want to take. Narcoleptic is not too bad. Diver's Lung is one of the top traits you want. There's like a mouth breather which consumes twice the oxygen, and when the game is called Oxygen Not Included, you don't want to use even more of that. And as I said, you can rename this to whatever, which I've been naming, of course, as my viewers. Yep, and you can name your colony or just roll a nice starving cantaloupe. We'll go with that. Embark. And here we go. Alert, your crew has awoken miles beneath the surface of an unfamiliar asteroid. Oddly, they have no recollection of how they got there. So this is the starting situation of the game. You start with your 3 guys, a ration box with bit of food, and a printing board, which shows that it gives you a next production, which means duplicate printing. These guys are called dupes or duplicants, and you get a new guy every 3 days or so, cycles, and you can see the cycles there. They're basically days, but They're called cycles. Up here, let's go through the UI and controls quickly. So up here you have your population, your stress number. It shows a 0. Oh, there. Let's pause it for a second so it updates. So you can see what is your highest stress in your colony. 5 at the moment on everyone because they just spawned. 20,000 calories of food. Speed settings, your name. Red alert, so you can wake up everyone and make them ignore their basic needs, like actually needing air and all of that to perform some tasks if needed, if there's a panic mode happening. And up here you have jobs, so you can control, if you've played say RimWorld, if you've played a Dwarf Fortress with Dwarf Therapist, or any of these other games, this is very familiar for you. So you can switch on and off jobs here for people, like if I don't want him to generate power, we can just toggle off that. Of course we want him to generate power because the deeper color means he's better at that. So he's actually pretty good at a lot of things. Abe, not so much. And Abe also cannot do cooking, it seems. A new thing they added in the agricultural upgrade was that you can now do new duplicants. So if I don't want them to do art or research, for example, this will be the default set for them when they come into the colony, which is really, really nice. And up here you can also just disable that or enable those for everyone. Consumables. This was a new thing in the agricultural upgrade, and this is the very core of the upgrade pretty much, because food now has quality, and it goes from a pickled meal, actually with the meal lice, so basically bugs is quality 3, and then it goes all the way up to stuffed berries and barbecues and nice things up here. And you can see people's expectations. So Rowan wants puru, and Frankie doesn't give a shit what he's eating. So for Rowan, these are kind of sketchy. Frankie, on the other hand, is like, yay, bugs! Let's eat those. And then he's better, like what he considers to be really good food is much lower. Like he's fine with some bit of meat and frost buns, while Rowan is like, yeah, these are starting to be barely edible. So this new expectation is pretty cool. The expectation goes up as they level up. So your dupes here have different stats. The attributes that we saw in the generation, like he has 10 athletics, which affects his level. So Rowan he's a level 10 runner, so the level comes from the highest attribute they have, which is athletics for Rowan, and this affects the decor expectation and the food expectation both. So being a great runner wants good food. Basically, and nice room and everything. But yeah, let's go to the vitals. Here you can see their health, their stress again, their fullness, how much they have eaten, and then how much they've eaten today. And reports show you a cycle report, so how much you've been using and generating oxygen power and all of this information. And then there's a research button, which I'll show you in a moment, which is the research of the game. And then you have a bunch of overlays. And overlays allow you to see lots of information, what's happening in the world. Let's just quickly go through the actual world, what's happening here. So this is your starting biome, and there's other biomes surrounding it. There's currently the starting biome, which is kind of this nice temperate with sandstone and dirt and algae and water and copper for you. So kind of this nice starter area. It also has these oxylites, which generate your initial oxygen. As you can see, it's emitting oxygen down there on the list. So you don't need to get your own oxygen production going immediately, so you don't suffocate. There's also pockets of air here and there that you can pop open and get some additional air for starters. But you need to get your own production fairly quickly on. And there's also this ice biome, which we can actually kind of peek there. We'll see more of that in a moment. And then there's this purple biome with like phosphorus and different hydrogen and chlorine gas, and these new pepper plants. Pinch pepper plants are growing there. And then there's this green biome, which we don't actually see at the moment. And it has like slime, lots of algae. It has natural gas geysers and steam geysers, which you can use for power creation and additional water. And at the bottom of the map, there is this lava zone, and at the top of the map there is pretty much nothing currently in this version, but I'm sure there is eventually going to be stuff in there. And you can also see some plants growing here already. So there are some muck roots, some mealwood, and some bristle blossoms, and some bristle briars as well. There's also a hatch buried there. That's one of the creatures in the game that are currently in the game. He eats pretty much anything in the night and poops out coal. That are pretty cool. But yeah, let's look at the overlays. So this is the auction overlay, and as you can see that well, underwater there's nothing. Then you have a nice high concentration there, a bit of air there. It will actually probably spread into there in a second, and then you have unbreathable regions there. We have also the power grid, which I will show you a bit more when we actually have a power grid. We have a temperature overlay, so the icy region there is a bit cold. This is nice and mild temperature for us, our starting area. Then there's the scorching, it's not really scorching, it's just hot purple biome there. And your dupes have this thermal comfort as well, so they don't like being in a too hot or too cold area. They prefer that temperate area, and they gain stress if they are in too hot area or into a cold area for them. So you can see that they are losing body heat in there if they go into the liquid. They also don't like being wet in general. Then there's lights. The printing board generates light, and there's lights you can install into your base. You can see liquids piped into the pipes. We'll show that in a moment as well. Same for gas. Then you have decor. So our printing board gives us a nice high decor in here, and then there's ugliness everywhere else. Plants also give you, and lots of things give or reduce the decor, especially new power lines and everything. And then there's a priority task. Down here at the bottom we have all the tools, so we're gonna actually do some digging immediately. So we'll just dig out this and get the game going, to get some material. Let's remove those basic tips there, and let's speed up the game a bit. So let's mine out a decent area here. This one is actually vacuum, so we don't want to pop that open yet. What we do want to do is actually get a bit of that copper. Actually, let's just pop it open, it's fine. We have a oxylite here generating air, so it's all okay. They're feeling a bit cold there, it seems. Also down here is a harvest tool, so you can harvest plants. There's an auto harvest now in the game, so you get to do actually this auto harvest on those and that. So when they mature, like this mealwood and the bristle blossom moldies, they would just go and harvest those. So we'll keep that as our like a free harvest area. You can also manually harvest and just take the whole thing out of the ground. You can also prioritize these tasks, so they are priority 5, and we could prioritize these to 6 or lower or higher. Sweep allows you to sweep the junk on the floor, so put them in the storage box. Mop mops up the water, so if you want to get rid of water, like there might be some dirty water for vomiting or something and you want to get rid of that. Deconstruct allows you to deconstruct stuff, and cancel is cancel, of course. And down here is everything you can build. Also up here, now that we've mined a bit of things, you can see all the materials you have available for you. And let's do a ladder going up here to get some mining done, and we're gonna need some beds for these guys. Actually, what we need first is actually a toilet outhouse, so we need somewhere to poop. We'll put it in the side there. We actually do 2 for the starters. They have different needs: food, toilet, sleep. They don't need to drink though. Of course, they need oxygen as well. They need to breathe. Crazy people. It seems our outhouses need a bit of dirt, so we'll grab some dirt from here. There's also a bunch of algae in here we could use. For auction making. Let's just make this into a bit higher priority, so they move these muck roots and food meal lice into the box, because the hatch is gonna wake up in in the nighttime, which is coming soon as the cycle moves here, and it's going to start nom-nomming through all the material that's on the floor, these copper ores and all the other stuff. And let's grab that as well. And let's do a couple beds. We have 3 guys currently, so they can sleep there, plus the next new guy. I'm just quickly making a base. I normally do very elaborate, this nice layout and setup for a base, but just for a show purpose, I'll just quickly do these. So now we have beds for everyone, so they can sleep in the night. Frankie, just a narcoleptic, fell to the floor asleep. And next thing we need is power. So in the base generation here you have also other, like, you can build tiles. We can make the floor nicer, which actually is not a bad idea. So we're gonna improve the floor there. Let's make it look nice. The ladder we made, you can make storage, airlocks, pneumatic doors, all of these. In the oxygen generation you have a algae deoxidizer, so we use algae as our initial air maker, and then there's better methods later in the game. For power we have, for starters, a manual generator, so basically a hamster wheel. And we'll throw a couple of those in there. Let's also push that a bit more there. And we're gonna make a couple of batteries. So we can stick those in there, and we'll do a power cord going here. And also let's get the research station. So we'll start with research there. And wait for them to quickly construct those. And they added a new, there's the hamster wheels as a power generation, and they added a natural gas generation as the newest one in the agricultural upgrade. There's also coal generators. We see some coal vents up here already that can be used as a for a fuel. And then there is a hydrogen generator, which is a bit difficult to use, but when you use electrolyzers to make air out of water, the byproduct is hydrogen, and you can pump that into your hydrogen generators to get some power out of that as well. There is also a natural hydrogen, like here. There's some chlorine floating in there, and this is actually what kind of brings this separate from other like colony builder games. In a Dwarf Fortress and RimWorld, it's all about like building this sustainable colony with food and everything, and making it nice for them, and then fighting the invaders, say goblins or raiders or whatever in those games. In this one there's very little combat. You can kill, for example, the hatch here. You can attack that, but that's a very basic and combat is not really a focus, at least not in this current version of the game. There they go, hamstering some power for us. They actually hamster endlessly because they don't have batteries to fill, so they're trying to power this. But this game focuses heavily on those basics of farming, making it nice and all of that, having your colony going. But the liquids, the gases, the solids, and dealing between those is a very, very key part of the game. So you have to make clean water for your guys, you need to make air for your people, you need to get rid of carbon dioxide that they generate. Like we have some carbon dioxide pooling up here already. It's just them breathing that generates this and removes the air from the air. So there's a lot of things to consider, and also you can convert the different states of the matter into different into the other one. So air can become or gas can become a liquid or a solid, and vice versa. So you can melt rocks into basically lava, or you can make liquid copper or whatever, and you can boil water into steam, or you can condense steam back into water, and you can also freeze the water into solid blocks, and all of that works with every material in the game, more or less. So some of them are of course super hard because they have very high temperature required, or really low temperature required to do that, but it is technically possible for every material. So now we have our power generation, our batteries that are happily filled, sparking, and we can do our research. So in the here we can select research, and we get in this nice research window, and there's a lot of stuff in here. So up here is farming, fine dining, then some gas piping methods, temperature modulation, pressure control, med base, and stuff. These you pretty much need all of this fairly quickly. So researching everything fast is quite key, and I usually go with a high research that do at the start of the game, so that I can quickly just blast through the necessary research really quick. And they've jumbled around lots of things in the research window, pretty much on every update. But it is getting better and better, and it's really nice. Let's jump into my previous save here at the Yucky Paradise, and I'll show you a bit further developed colony. That allows me to show the power grids and the gas and liquids being piped and everything else a bit better here. So let's just jump into this one. So this is one I was working on yesterday, and we have a lot more materials on this one, all kinds of things. And this is a bit higher developed colony. And here you can see that there's a lot of paintings, masterpieces that are probably gonna change eventually for the decor value. So now we can see that there's a really high decor in my base, 100 and almost 200, and down here not so great, minus 500s and 400s over there. And I have my sleeping areas here, some carbon dioxide pulling up into my farm here, and these are the new hydroponic tiles that were added in the patch. So my farm is growing here, and it's being pumped water into. There's some Weesworts that are these chili plants. They cool down the room, so I'm cooling down the farm with this. I'm also having some algae terrariums that remove the carbon dioxide as it falls to the bottom of the room. These eat it and generate air from it, and it's getting actually watered automatically here by this watering system. Here's my water pool, some of my better power generation here, power transmitters. Power transmitters is a new thing they added in the agriculture patch into the early access. So let's go to the power grid. So this is a very messy, tangled power grid, but it shows this new power system that they added. So we have these new heavy watt wires, and they take 20,000 power as they go up and down here into the sides into the batteries, and then they go into the transformers. And they added in the thermal upgrade, so the previous big update, they added this system that if you put too much power into a wire, it will blow up. Basically, if you connect too many machines that require power. So for example, here we can see we have a grilling station so that takes 60 power, and then a couple of fridges and a microwave masher. And this wire can take 1000 watts maximum, and if there's too many of these machines connected to it that at the same time take that power, it will start breaking here and there, and it's repairing. And they improved the system now in the agricultural upgrade and added this new heavy watt wire. That was a previously heavy watt wire that was 2000 power, and now there is 20,000 power wire. So this is your like main power trunk line that goes around your base. It's very ugly to a very 6 tile radius, so it needs to be kind of on the side, hiding somewhere out of sight. And it no longer can be built inside a wall as well, so it has to be visible basically. The smaller wires can go through walls and everything, so you can hide them there, and they are not that ugly also. And between the smaller grids where you connect your house appliance basically, and the massive trunk line, you have to have these power transmitters, and they convert the 20,000 max power into 1000, so that this power line doesn't blow up. And you can do it in reverse as well. I did it here. So I could have done just a power line through the wall there, or actually break the wall and put this through there into the machines, but I did it actually in reverse. So I put these hamster wheels into a smaller wire and into the transmitter, and then that goes into the big grid. So they can be used in both ways. And it's a really nice, it forces you to rethink the power system a lot. Of course, if you haven't played the game yet, it's the first thing you encounter, and it does add quite a lot of complexity into the game, which is nice. I felt the game was a bit easy in the thermal upgrade, but the agricultural upgrade definitely pumps up the complexity of the game quite nicely, which it needs, and I hope they keep doing that. But based on their previous updates and upgrades, I'm sure they're gonna do that. Klei is very, very good at doing their early access games. Don't Starve and all of these other games they've done did really well in early access, and they've made some awesome games out of those. And I have a couple of lights also here shining down here, and I was gonna show you the liquid piping system. So down here we have a liquid pump, and it's pumping water mainly into the farm here, the hydroponic farms, and then this dribble system into the terrariums, and there's another pipe going up here, all the way up here to our other farm. So this is my ice biome farm. It's a bit full of polluted oxygen at the moment, and it's toasty, so I need to actually cool it down a bit more. And here I'm growing some sleet wheat, which is one of the new plants, with some chili carrots in there, and I need more in there. And part of the line is insulated pipe as well, so that it doesn't freeze in the colder area. I also have this slime, they're called biodistillers, but they use slime to make algae and dirty water, and the dirty water is being pumped down here into my dirty water pool, which then takes the dirty water and pumps it into the other plants here. So in here we have some pinch pepper plants growing, hanging from the roof, with some space heaters heating up the room here, full of carbon dioxide, of course. So you do these piping systems here and there. You also have water purifiers, you have sanitation, so you have toilets and showers, so you need to do all the piping for those and make this a very elaborate connection of pipes and everything everywhere, and it becomes a mess, but it's a fun mess to work with. And then we have also a gas piping system. So as I said, the natural gas is one of the new methods. So there's natural gas generators here that actually drop the water on the floor here, which is why the pool is here. And they added these new natural gas geysers here. So these are puffing natural gas in here, filling the room. And I have a gas pump there that puts it into a pipe. Here you can see the stuff going inside the pipe, making this nice sound. And it's pumped into the generators that make the power, drop the water on the floor there, and then they push out the carbon dioxide, which is getting pumped through here into the farm and into the other farm, because plants don't care what kind of gas they are in, as long as gas pressure is high enough and temperature is correct. So I'm filling these areas there. I'm also removing it with the algae terrariums and turning it into proper air. So you have these different materials cycling in your base, dirty water into pure water into dirty water as you do something with it, for example shower, and then same with the gases. And it's this complex system of materials being transferred and used and turned into other things, which makes this really awesome, damn nice game. But yeah, that's my small 30-minute view into the game called Oxygen Not Included, and I highly recommend it. I mean, it is very much a work in progress, as it just launched from alpha into the early access yesterday, but I highly recommend it already. I have 350 hours already in the game, and I'm loving every second of the game, and I'm looking forward to what kind of progress we'll get in the future. So gets a big thumbs up from me. Check it out. And if you like this early access preview of the Oxygen Not Included, check out the other previews, reviews, and all the other content on the YouTube channel, and check out the same stuff on the Twitch TV as well, on twitch.tv/Belnar, and also I live stream there every day. Games like this, City Skylines, many other management builder simulation games, and some strategy and RPGs, and a bit of random stuff every now and then. So anyways, come say hi, and I'll wave an arm at you. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.